What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and in this video we are going to take a look at a Pan's Shadow game. And Pan's Shadow has definitely become a favorite hero of mine on this patch, potentially the last patch by the time you are watching this. I'm not sure exactly when that new patch is dropping, but this game starts off well. Cindy plus free roll into locking a shop containing a witch's brew plus a goat, which will get us halfway through Cindy. It'll get us a pretty strong board, and it's important to be strong in the early game as Pan's Shadow because you don't have a hero power really until you hit tier 4. Now we are actually going to be playing up against Bear, so that means we'll be able to purchase 2 of these units. So we're going to go ahead and pick up, after some deliberation, I'm going to pick up the goat and the kitty cut purse. I tend to stay away from polywoggles on Pan's Shadow and just try to play as strong a board as I possibly can. So we'll pick up those 2 units after thinking about it some. But the fact that we have this Cindy is also going to be quite good for us because there's some really good tier 2 treasures on Pan's Shadow. And the reason for that is basically, bounty board is like the main treasure that you're looking for. The reason for that is because on Pan's Shadow, I like to force slay comp every game that I can. I think that it is the best strategy on Pan's Shadow. That's partially why I'm making this video. I don't know when the new patch is coming out, but I have seen that at least on the beta, they were testing out pumping up Pan's Shadow to 45 health. And Pan's Shadow also hasn't been performing that well if you look at the charts overall, if you look at the data overall on sbbtracker.com. And I think that's a shame. And part of the reason I think that this might be, I did see a Discord post recently that said, oh well, they are nerfing trees a little bit, so they have to pump up Pan's Shadow to 45 health because Pan's Shadow no longer can play trees as easily. And I think that's a mistake if people are trying to play trees, emoting there because we got the slay. We are going to take a bunch of damage against this Merlin, unfortunately. But basically, I think you should always be trying to play slay comp on Pan's Shadow, and that is exactly why I'm making this video. Pan's Shadow getting some more health might make some more people more willing to try him out again. And I will touch briefly, I didn't pick up the Wizard's Familiars last turn because you definitely don't want to be trying to play mage type strategies on Pan's Shadow. Those are definitely a little bit awkward. You do have Monster Book, but it's just like impossible to get a crystal ball, and that is also the reason that I am skewing away from Spellweaver here. Once you hit tier 4, it's also just so hard to cast spells in the shop, and that is also going to be something that we really want to consider. So I'll just pick up the Lucky. Lucky is also not my favorite unit with Pan's Shadow because one of the strengths of Lucky is that if you discount a tier 2 unit, you just get a free gold because you can just buy it and sell it and make the gold up. With Pan's Shadow, you wind up discounting tier 4 units, so that is obviously not nearly as good, but could still help you potentially sometimes. For the most part, I just wind up cutting Lucky once I get to tier 4 for the most part is Pan's Shadow. But getting a discount on tier 3 units and tier 2 units for right now is going to be good, is going to allow us to be a little bit stronger on this current board. So here, like I said, I think it's going to be tough to cast spells once we hit level 4. This is just part of playing Pan's Shadow. I'm going to go ahead and cast this gingerbread house. I think it also lines up pretty well on the current board, or gingerbread party as it's called, and that'll make both of these vampires into 5/5s, and I'll just have to sell one of my units in order to play both of these, and then I'll cut the kitty cut purse and the Cinderella. And I guess either way, I'm not playing the crafty, whether I play the Cindy or the kitty cut purse in that final slot. And again, I'm just going to try to be as strong as I can. So I'm going to play the 2-2 over the 1-1 and just try to play the strongest board that I possibly can at every possible instance until we get to tier 4. And that is, I won't say a trick to playing Pan Shadow, but it's definitely how I think is the best way to play him. So that's what we are going to go for here. We are going to get another Slay with Brave Princess, but we will walk away from this one with another loss, though we do get a free gold again from Share Bear, so I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, and then an additional gold from Lucky as well. We can fire off this Earthquake to grab ourselves a tier 2 treasure, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and the best tier 2 treasure that we can get would certainly be Bounty Board. However, Dragon's Nest, it's not super exciting, but I think I can make it work, and I think it's probably the thumbnail of this video as well, just because Dragon's Nest is not a treasure that you use super often, but I do think it can be a reasonable treasure on Pan Shadow. I'll go ahead and pick up Baby Dragon here again, kind of just to be as strong as we possibly can in this early game, and then I think I'm gonna roll, potentially looking for Vampire. This is like the last chance to triple Vampire, though when I see this Golden Chicken, that seems like a good enough pickup to me. Try to just bring as much gold as possible into tier 4. So that's kind of the plan that we are looking at now. And yeah, I'm going to try to force this Slay comp. It's basically what I do every time I play Pan Shadow, but I think that the Slay comp is really sweet, and I think there are a few reasons that you should be trying to play this on Pan Shadow if you are not already. Basically, if you look at a hero, the most comparable hero to Pan Shadow is going to be Zelhua, right? But the biggest difference is that Pan's Shadow cannot triple any of the units that you get earlier on. This is still an interesting turn here, by the way, because I am going to cast this The End on the Kitty Cup Purse. I don't mind XP on Pan Shadow. Even though we are tier 4 right now, I think we can still make use of some XP. I do think I should have picked up that Chupacabra, though. I think that Chupacabra would have been really good for us. We could have put that in slot 2, and would have just been a strong way to make use of that lucky trigger. But basically, we are still going to have a turn at tier 4 to just try to pick up some Riverwash Mermaids, potentially some more dragons, and then we'll be able to start picking up tier 5 units. But Pan Shadow typically starts a little bit behind at this point of the game. You can see we're at 21 health. We're about to play up against a 40 health Trophy Hunter. We have not had a hero power all game, and every other hero in the lobby other than Apocalypse with us also does not have a hero power. And this Apocalypse has lost more health than we have, because Apocalypse started with more health on this patch that I'm playing this game on. Like I said, by now I think Pan Shadow starts with 45 health. I'm not exactly sure when the new patch is going to drop. I think it might have already dropped by the time you are watching this video, assuming that I synced everything up correctly. If it is, you can look for a patch review in the next day or two, and I might also do a live stream just to kind of test out some of the new changes on the patch, if there are any changes, and also just to farm some content up for the YouTube channel. And look at that. We are actually going to get a tie against the undefeated first place player in the lobby, so pretty good stuff there. And we get a pretty good treasure for Pan Shadow. We get Bad Moon, which is honestly the best tier 3 treasure that you can get while playing Pan Shadow. So that is pretty fantastic. I'll get to pick up a pair of Riverwash Mermaids right now, and that is pretty fantastic as well. So we will really get to get these dragons to start growing. So all of that is a lot of fun and going to be pretty strong for us. And then I see a pair of Chupacabras, and like I said, I really should have picked up a Chupacabra last turn when I had the opportunity to pick one up for 2, but now that I have this Bad Moon, now that I really know that we can start scaling some Slay units, I'm going to pick up some Chupacabras here. So in order to do that, we can sell both of our golden chickens and pick up one right now, and then we can, well, we should have cast the shrink spell as well. We could sell 4 units, like both of the Vampires and our entire bench, and picked up a second Chupacabra, but I don't think it's super necessary for right now. I think that we'll be fine just with how the econ works out if we wind up picking up some Chupacabras next turn. We are going to defeat this APOC pretty easily now that we have a hero power and they do not, and then we'll pick up this Chupacabra. And I am obviously a little bit more incentivized to pick it up when it is a pair. That is a big part of it, and also the fact that we got the Bad Moon. But now that we've got 3 Chupacabras, we'll be able to start picking up some treasures, and this is the key to Pan Shadow. I think that some of these tier 4 treasures are really good on Pan Shadow. Sky Castle can be used to combine your Riverwash Mermaids easily, and then Horn of Olympus is obviously the one that you are really looking for. You do want to at least consider Gloves of Thieving as well, because if you are playing some Lightning Dragons, then you'll be able to steal your opponent's backline units. But yeah, that is basically what I really like to do with Pan Shadow, is just try to collect a whole bunch of tier 4 treasures while you are on level 4, seeing a bunch of tier 4 units. And I found that one of the best comps that you can build with those tier 4 treasures, I mean, best one is probably Royals, but beyond that is this Slay comp, because you can easily find that horn. You can use the Sky Castle to combine your Riverwash Mermaids easily, which gives you additional chances to try to find that horn as well. We'll be using the Chupacabra to pump up these Vampires, and both of the Vampires actually get the Toil and Trouble as well, and we are going to be doing pretty good against Isaac, who has got Hat Ball and a Storm King. So they're doing pretty good themselves, though we are going to beat them here and hit them for a nice chunk of damage, so not too shabby. We'll be able to pick up Lancelot this turn, and probably free roll and see what else we can find. I mean, we can cut this Brave Princess for Lance, or we can just backline Lance, and then the Chup will help to pump Lance up. That kind of works as well. And then we actually wind up finding an additional Riverwash Mermaid, so that's kind of sweet too. We can pop in another Riverwash Mermaid and just continue to grow our entire front line. And you can see how the bounty board would have really been going off if we had all of the +1 gold from every time that we have been slaying, though the Dragon's Nest has definitely done a lot of work for us. I don't think that I've been paying super close attention to the Dragon's Nest, but if I remember correctly, this might be the combat where the Dragon's Nest really gets to do some nice work here. Yeah, Lightning Dragon is going to slay and survive, go up to 14 health, which allows it to kill this doubly and survive again. And might have done some similar things in some previous combats, but there you go, just doing absolutely wonderful work, mostly from that Dragon's Nest, to be honest. Just a little extra oomph to let that Lightning Dragon stick around. Pretty good stuff. I'll put in another Lightning Dragon, cutting the baby dragon for this one, and then we'll do some more rolling. We do see a burning tree here, but I'm not interested in trees when I am playing Pan Shadow. I am interested in slaying. We'll also use this Queen's Grace to activate Lancelot, put him at 27 attack, and that is going to mean we get a tier 5 treasure as soon as this combat starts off. We've got some dueling dragons here, and my opponent is going to take out both of my Riverwash mermaids, but we are going to take out both of theirs. So pretty silly combat. Chupacabra is still getting in there, pumping up the Baba Yaga, and then Lancelot taking my opponent out. So that was a pretty silly combat with the dueling dragons, but we're going to get the tier 5 treasure, which is absolutely great, and we are taking that Hand of Midas even before I realize that there is a Jormungand waiting for us in the shop. I was ready to roll for it, but it just kind of appeared. So pretty fantastic stuff. I felt like, especially when playing Pan Shadow, you are decently likely to hit the Jormungand because you can just roll for it, and you've got a built-in Staff of the Old Toad, and Staff plus Hand of Midas is obviously really good, but we were even more lucky than that to just have it in our opening shop. So basically feel like we've already won this game. I'm going to bet on myself here with this for glory, and if you guys can remember, I was at 21 health when I hit level 4, and now we are still at 21 health, but we are level 6, and obviously we are much ahead of the rest of the lobby. Now, if you wanted to at a point like this, I assume you could transition into trees, but I just think Pan Shadow has such a straightforward build path with playing this Slay comp, and this isn't like a one-off thing. I think I did this multiple times when Pan Shadow first came out, and I've done it multiple times since then. I just don't show you guys every game that I do that, but I wanted to give a little bit of a reminder, and I thought that this was a good game to showcase because it wasn't a trees game, and we are potentially looking at trees getting some small nerfs, and this can be another avenue that you look towards playing. So that is definitely what I wanted to just showcase in this video. Luckily, our Jormungand is going to survive with my opponent having that rotten applewood there, and we are going to walk out of this one with a win. 9 damage to the Fates. We get our 4 glory. What was our win percentage there? Okay, yeah, 86%. Pretty good. We can now buy and sell this Lordy, and then pick up another Jormungand. So all of that is pretty fantastic. That is going to just allow us to continue to get big on this board. Honestly, I don't really love the Lancelot at this point, and I think I'm going to wind up cutting the Lancelot from the current board just to put in another Jormungand. And I just want to try to be, again, still as strong as we can be at any point. I don't want to underestimate this trophy hunter for sure, and I just want to make sure that we're playing a strong board. In the Chupacabra, we've just had it for longer, so it's had much more of a chance to scale than the Lancelot has. So we will go ahead and throw that other Jormungand in here. And looks like my opponent has 1 Baba Yaga, which we are going to take out, and then my whole board is going to be huge, so their Grim Soul is going to be unable to slay, but they do have a rather large Friendly Spirit there, or Oni King, rather, in the back. Their Friendly Spirit isn't all that big. We're going to be able to walk away from this one pretty easily, and yeah, they're not even going to be able to do much of anything. So this is going to be a huge hit, 19 damage onto that Trophy Hunter. Pretty sweet stuff. Pick up the Lightning Dragon here. We're not really looking for any treasure at this point. Like, if we had Gloves of Thieving, we would have stole the Baba Yaga last turn from that Trophy Hunter, but it's a little late at this point in the game for that, for those Gloves of Thieving. So we'll just skip and continue to roll, see if we can't find a Baba Yaga or some more Jormungands to really finish this board out. And upgrade is kind of exactly what we're looking for here, especially up against the Ghost. There's not too many more ways that we can make this board more powerful, so just grabbing another Knighthood to upgrade the Jormungand that we have that is unupgraded is totally fine and going to be a great use of our gold, especially as we are up against the Ghost here, so this one is probably not going to be too difficult. The Lightning Dragon getting in double slays, will really just have to watch out for soul tax against future opponents, especially on anybody playing trees, though yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes in the future. This turn, we are just going to wind up using Knighthood on Jormungand, and we're potentially up in the finals next turn. Lucky Coin, might as well lock it, seems fine. And yeah, if we can take out this Fates and Trophy Hunter or Tiger, if one of those two can take each other out, then we're up in the finals next turn. So this game is almost over, and that's great for us because we are basically full build, potentially looking for one more treasure to add to our board here, but for the most part we have basically got everything sorted. Lightning Dragon is going to continue to scale, as is this Chupacabra, getting some nice scaling on this board against the Fates to take into our finals match, and that is going to be a kill on the Fates. So now we are really just looking for Baba Yaga, potentially 9C Terrors or something. I think I might also pick that up, and we are going to be up against the Trophy Hunter indeed. So let's grab that lucky coin and let's roll. There is a 9C Terror, but I roll right past it because really the only way that we actually get better on this board is by picking up these Baba Yagas. So I'm going to roll past the Riverwash Mermaid as well, and because we are playing Pan Shadow, I think that we do have the opportunity here to really just roll for exactly what we need, and that is that Baba Yaga. I think I was also potentially chatting with Isaac here, but I do want to take a look, and I think that this Shrivel is going to be good enough. It kills most of my opponent's units, and we'll be able to yeah, set things off right in the combat. There is another Jormungand here, but I think we're good because I don't think I want to cut any of this. So I think that we're just going to stick with what we've got here, taking another look at their board, and then I will probably roll it down and just continue to look for some more Baba Yagas. But yeah, you can see everything on my opponent's board dies to that Shrivel, so that's going to be pretty good. And then we do have a Baba Yaga here on our very last shop. So we'll lock that. In case we lose, then we get to pick up a Baba Yaga and get even stronger next turn. But we had pretty good odds last time we played up against the Trophy Hunter. I'm hoping that we're going to get more of the same. However, this Shrivel totally backfires. It kills a Grim Soul, and that allows my opponent to cast a bunch of spells to start off the combat. That takes out my Lightning Dragon, and then we are going to wind up killing their friendly spirit. Their other Grim Soul then attacks in, and they cast even more spells, and they wind up scamming both of my Jormungands in the front row, and then they actually scam my computer. All of these spells makes my game crash, so I've got to boot up my game here. And we're going to miss the rest of this combat. But the most damage that my opponent can do on this board is 16, even if they continue to just scam all of my units here with these spells. So we'll figure it out here. We will load the game, get back into it. Quick reminder there that I put out new Storybook Brawl videos every day. So there you go. There's the upside to me my game crashing, as I can show off that art. And we did take a bunch of damage. We took 13 damage there, and then we will pick up the Baba Yaga and we will get the Evil Eye, which is the best possible treasure that we could have gotten. And then I believe we are going to roll 2 more times now, and then pick up a Pigomorph, which is a much better spell to be casting against Trophy Hunter, because that's going to mean that we don't trigger the last breath of whatever we Pigomorph. We just totally get rid of it completely. And the Pigomorph alongside the Lightning Dragon, assuming that my opponent doesn't have any ways to just start casting spells at the start of combat. Lightning Dragon will then be able to potentially get rid of some of my opponent's Baba Yagas. And it's actually even crazier than that, because my opponent had a Soul Tack protecting both of their Baba Yagas, and I just said, I don't care about that Soul Tack, it's a pig now, and then I swing in with the Lightning Dragon. So definitely did get a little bit lucky there. It was a little bit silly but if I didn't pigomorph the Soltak, I would have pigomorphed something else, and that probably would have still been pretty good. My opponent is going to cast some spells against us with this monster book, which is also going to kill their other Grim Soul and allow them to cast even more spells. So they are going to get some spells here, but they aren't going to get the scams on the Jormungand, which is really the only thing that matters at this point. Can they get the scams on the Jormungand? They do get the scam on one, but they're not going to be able to scam the other one, unfortunately for them, and fortunately for me. That is going to be a win on the Trophy Hunter, and I think a pretty textbook example of how you want to play Pan Shadow. So good luck out there if you want to play Pan Shadow yourself. I think it is still just as good because there aren't as many crazy tree comps running around, and tree comps can actually get a little bit tricky just because it makes it so much easier for your opponents to play Soltak, which could potentially be awkward when you are running Lightning Dragons. And you know what? I'm going to show off one more clip. Okay, so I wanted to go over this game as well. This was a recent Pan Shadow game where I had a bounty board early on, just luckily got that, and that allowed me to get a bunch of gold throughout the game and really find my way ahead despite being only on 1 health. I was working with some 45 gold turns before I wound up dropping the bounty board. So we get to this point against Potion Master. It's just myself and the Potion Master, the Phoenix Feather resummoning the Lightning Dragon for me, and then a pair of upgraded Jormungands that basically have to carry the fight and are going to be able to do so. That is definitely something that these Jormungans can do, as long as my opponent doesn't get anything too crazy, and it looks like they haven't found their Echo Wood yet. But I am a little bit afraid that my opponent might try to pull a fast one on us here and either backline all of their really high health units or pick up a Soltak. So because of that, even though this Lightning Dragon is at 130 health, I'm actually going to cut it for the last fight and put this Medusa in. And I was really going back and forth on this decision. It wound up not really mattering, but it is just something additionally to keep in mind. This Medusa is still going to be able to get a bunch of slays in because it has 9 attack from the upgraded Baba Yaga, and then it's also getting all of that Riverwash Mermaid support. So let's take a look here with the Medusa if we're going to be able to do it. And again, this is a little bit because I'm playing up against trees and am really afraid that they're just going to have some high health in the backline. Now, turns out they don't have any of this, but this does also give us the additional bonus of not having the Lightning Dragon be what is Phoenix Feathered and is ultimately just going to wind up working out very well for us. I think they do Medusa one of my Jormungand's, so it works out pretty okay for my opponent too, but we are still going to find the win and the kill onto this Potion Master. So there you go. There is a little look into another Pan Shadow game that didn't go quite as crazy at the end, but also allowed us to play around some interesting things. And honestly, I mean, those Jormungand numbers on this screen, we don't quite have the Evil Eye, but we basically have everything else going on quite the same. So that is going to be it for me for this one. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.